Welcome back to Norrath. Well, we are starting off today's episode sitting in a boat in the Sea of Arud, headed to the island of Talos behind me here. And then we're going to turn around and go back to Quinos. We have a lot of things to take a look at there, and then we're going to take a short stop by my base, and use the Druid portal to head on over to Neriak and the Lavastorm Mountains to wrap up the episode. Now, the island of Talos here is where the great and the good of Quinosian civilization are buried at. It's sort of a memorial island. There's also a lot of treasure that's been left there over the years as sort of votive offerings from those who have visited. So it contains a lot of tombs and mausoleums, and it's pretty much a sort of necropolis type area, and we are going to take a look around that today. Now, all of these buildings here will be future tutorials. Some of them you will recognize as the things I have already released. And of course, we have a nice Roman-style lighthouse in the middle, which I haven't released yet. There's a little harbor here we are going to be sailing into. So if I can point the boat correctly through this way. It's always a little hard to do with Minecraft boats. So we have a little harbor here, and above us we have our lighthouse, a couple of statues, and let's dismount. There we go, out of the boat. So we have our lighthouse here. This is done in a traditional Roman way with a square section on the bottom, and then it transitions to an octagonal section, and then we have a circular section on top with, of course, our blazing light here shining out over the ocean with, of course, a little statue on the top there as well. And this is going to be a little simple tutorial. I've already done a really advanced Roman lighthouse before, but this is going to be the survival-friendly version. All of these buildings here should be survival-friendly. You may immediately recognize the baby pantheon we have over here. The Roman fountain. The Roman oracle here. The small Roman temple. We even have some Doric structures right there as well. And each one of these is designed to be a commemorative structure slash mausoleum for, as I said, the nobility and the heroes of old would be buried here. Of course, here we have our angel statue out on this little island. And over here we have a discobelisk statue, very famous Greek statue, that I've tried to do using only a few blocks. You have to use your imagination, but he's holding a discus, and he's getting ready to twirl around and throw it, I believe, is the pose that we have going on here. You know, as with Minecraft statues, you have to use your imagination on that. Over here, we do have our round Roman mausoleum. Everyone was a fan of this structure. Right there. And over here as well, we have, of course, the Tomb of Alexander, one of those, and a more traditional mausoleum over here with the stepped pyramidal roof on top of that, and a couple of more structures that I have back here as well. So I'm pretty pleased with how this island has come out, actually. I've been building all of these little structures, and I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted to put them. I thought that, like traditional Roman graves, I would put them along the road, and I may still do that in Karana. But I wanted to come out here and steal a page from Jason and the Argonauts when they visited the island of Talos in that old movie from, I don't remember how long ago. It's the really old one. But yeah, I thought it came together really nice. Of course, it's said around here that if you dare to steal the treasures, the very statues themselves will come to life and seal you in one of the mausoleums here. So we better not take anything. We are just visiting our little island. And it's time to leave. We want to go back to Palandar. And it is due south of here, just straight south as the crow flies or the boat travels. And we could take another boat over there, as you see. We do have one of our Viking boats that passes nearby. Of course, that takes us all the way up to Hellas. So we would still have to get our feet wet if we chose one of those boats. But I just don't want to jump cut there. I want to show you how big everything is in the world. So we want to take a little boat trip. We can already see the walls of Palandar, aka Koinos, coming into view. Right here, I may extend the city a little bit more along the ocean here. Because I want to go this specific way because I have done some work on the docks. And I also want to show you what I've done with those Roman triremes. You've already seen that tutorial. So I want to show you what I've done with those in my world, because in general when I build something and give it to you as a tutorial, I also need it for my own world here. Same goes true with the insulae. We're going to see that fairly shortly. We can see one of them poking up behind the walls there. Maybe a few more behind there as well. And Minecraft boats are really slow. Not compared to flying anyway. I think flying is faster than a boat. At least on the water anyway. But I do like to take the overland routes when possible. So let's go into this port right here and tie up our boat. And see, we have some unloaded cargo I put on the docks here. We can see one of my Roman road patterns that I showed you. I've laid those out as the motif for the docks area here. Let me just zoom out a little bit so you can see that. Another one of our statues here. I have also added some very small warehouse structures. These are also going to be doubling as Roman barracks for the fort that I'm going to build. Everyone's been asking for a fort for a long time, and I need one myself. So we are going to be doing that. But in here, you can see we have a generous amount of space to pile up cargo or have subdivide it off to have soldiers sleep in there. We do have some stairs. We can go. These are structurally complete buildings, unlike the insula. There, we have just 2 floors to these, fairly straightforward. But there are a number of these. I have squished some of them into the city walls back here as well, as I tend to do. Some of them have this front portico on here with the columns. Some of them don't. We can see over here a docked trireme, of course, with the sails up and the oars drawn in. It just fits into the quays we have here on the docks. Let's go over here and take a look at the rest of the patterns. I have laid down the same pattern for the docks everywhere, pretty much, except for the smaller roads. Of course, we have our really big lighthouse I made reference to. Made that quite a long time ago. But we do have quite a number of other triremes docked around here as well. Except we do have a slight problem with these, because the Colossus, the space I made for the Colossus is not going to be big enough to let the triremes out. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a larger triumphal arch and have the Colossus stand on top of that. And in that way, there will be enough space for the triremes to get in and out of the docks complex. Of course, I made the docks a long time before I made these things here, and I forgot to come back and check the size of those. I need to make a smaller size of trireme, actually, with just like 1 bank of oars and 1 sail, I think. I'm going to put that down on the list to do. We do have some obelisks now that I've made reference to before. Now that we've been to Kunark for a while, you can see what distant land these have come from. These have been hauled back from Kunark as trophies of an ancient age, I guess. The Romans would always do this. There are quite a lot of obelisks littered around Rome. Behind me here, you can see, though, we do have quite a number of things poking up now from behind the walls. So let's actually go over one of our gates here and take a look. We have our large Greek stoa. I'm going to be doing a tutorial on this fairly shortly. Some more statues, of course. Our main theater here. If we drop down in here and take a seat for a moment and take in one of the shows, if we look up, we can see quite a lot of interesting structures. Of course, we have our Doric clock tower up there, but we also have a number of insula that we can see behind here. And indeed, right behind here, this is the tallest insula model that I've made, and I have done this by extending upwards a particular model of insula and squishing 2 more on top of that to create this effect here. And of course, on top of that, since it is going to be probably the tallest insula, I have put my Pegasus statue on top of that here, so we can have some good old-fashioned Roman skyscrapers. I know insula never got this tall in ancient Rome. Indeed, the emperors put a limit on that. I think Augustus put a limit on that, and Trajan later put another shorter limit on that one. Because they just kept trying to make them too tall, like buildings in our world today. They just keep pushing the limit. But we can see that this one is quite tall. Many stories. It's just an empty shell, as are the other ones beside it here. But you can see my plan that we're going to be abandoning the street plan I marked down here at the start. Because I did that before I had all of these insula made. So they're going to be all sorts of different sizes, I think. But let's land here for a moment and take in the view. Very big and tall insula. This is going to give you some idea of what you can do with the insula designs I'm going to be giving you. I've made 7. I need to make several more. I don't think 7 is going to be enough to cut it to fill in the city and not have everything look too similar. Right here, here's the first version of insula. I've already showed you the Doric version. I've just stacked the bottom level up 3 times and then made the top level. That's all that building is there. Of course, we have other ones here along the sides. They have more and less levels of decoration. The most basic ones would be the barracks type structures that I showed you when we got off the boat over there. If we go back through here, we can see I've changed the courtyard yet again. This is going to be the last time, probably, that I change the main courtyard here. I've updated it with the design that I showed you, that I said that I liked in the Roman road tutorial I recently did. Well, if we stop down here, we can take a look at everything we've got here. Got a nice little triumphal arch, a pleasing fountain, our Roman skyscraper over there off in the distance. I really enjoyed looking at that. Over here, we do have some more buildings that I've added. As you can see, we do have the Stoa of Attalus. Over here, at least my version of the Stoa of Attalus. The actual Stoa of this should be much longer. But I shortened it a little. It's the same basic design, though. We do have various levels up here, where if we wanted to, we can wrap ourselves in a white sheet, lean against some of the columns, and philosophize about the mysteries of existence. Back here, though, we can see that there are a few more insula. I can walk down one of these streets here and show you what it's going to be like. There are going to be some trees, I think, at various levels along here. I will just pop in here and show you. They're all just empty shells at the moment. I'm going to do the exteriors first, and then at some point in the future, I hope to come through here and add all sorts of various floors and everything in here for those. But if we want to, we can just wander around the streets like so. Perhaps visit one of the thermopoliums and pick ourselves up a Roman hamburger. Go in one of the mini tabernae, little shops along the road here, and buy ourselves a new pair of sandals. Whatever it is that they do in ancient Rome, we would be doing that, of course. And for the new people that haven't seen Norrath before, I just want to make a quick stop through the Quaenosian Cathedral here. Never can resist a good excuse to come in here and take a look at the ceiling. People keep asking me to do the Hagia Sophia. They don't really realize I've already done the Hagia Sophia. It's right here. But this is the too big to build version of it. I'm going to be doing a smaller one, I think, for the future, for a more survival-friendly type structure. But that's about all the time we have to visit around Quaenos today. Let's take a flyover on our way out. Oh, I added some angel statues up here on the top, by the way. 3 of those. That'll look good. Nice Baroque detail. There, I added another Pegasus statue here, updated that courtyard. I moved the library. I'm not sure where to put this, along with the bathhouse. Perhaps out here, somewhere along with our Colosseum. as well. But all these empty areas you see out here, they're going to be stuffed full of good old-fashioned Roman insula. Like I've been showing you, as soon as I build more models, we're going to be doing that. I think all the insula should be installed by the time you next get this map. The next version of that, around Christmas, spoilers, is when I plan to release that to you. Let's head over this way, though, out into the Quanos Hills, because I want to show you my house. Because the city is far too noisy and crowded. I live out here, actually, in this house. This is going to be my base that I'm slowly developing, so I want to give you a little tour of it. It is also a shell. I have not installed the interiors for that, so I'll just give you a quick look in here. You can see it's empty at the moment, so we'll just take a look at the exterior. Of course, we have a nice little portico for the main doorway, but this design it's symmetric, but it's also asymmetric at the same time. In other words, if we take a look down here, of course, we have a nice symmetric Roman portico, but on the sides you can see things quickly start going out of whack. Of course, we have a nice little wing over here on the sides. Some more windows over there with details. We're going to have a small second floor up there. We have a little apse on the side here. I think I might make this little area my study, where I work on various things. And of course, at the back here, we're going to have a nice little area of formal gardens and everything. It's a little bit overgrown, but we're going to have a nice little fountain, a little shaded area where we can sit underneath back here. Perhaps a little pool. I'm not sure about the pool yet. And an impluvium of sorts. But yeah, this is just my little house design here. Whenever I do the interior for this, of course, I know you're going to ask. I will give this to you as a small tutorial as well. But that's going to be a little while off because I want to take my time finishing my own house, which is coincidentally, or not coincidentally, located by the Druid Rings. As I said, we are going to go to Neriak and the Lavastorm Mountains, and that is how we are going to get here. As soon as I find the right button. Nope, not one of those. Nope, I need to find, what is it? I need to find a lavastorm. Here we go. All right. So this will have taken us to the Lavastorm Mountains, which we can already see rising up behind here, or rather just outside the Lavastorm Mountains. So if we want to take the road in this way, which I haven't built, and brave the lava and the magma and everything as we go around through here. I haven't worked out the exact details of how we're going to get around here. I need to build out some pathways for that, but we can immediately see the gates of the entrance to the Temple of Solsek Row over here. And a whole lot of magma in the vast lavastorm caldera here. Of course, the shaders are making the magma blocks glow quite a bit. So if we just get a view on that over here, we can see that from a distance. I posted a view from around here already that you may recognize. So the sky was different. I can't do custom skies per biome in Minecraft, not yet anyway. That'd be pretty cool though if the sky would change every time the biome changed. I think the color of the sky does do that, but I wish like the details would change. Well, maybe in the future. So over here, as I said, this is going to be the entrance to the Temple of Solsek Row. Of course, it's guarded by some very scary Solsek guardians. Right here. This idea is only partially ripped off from the Dark Portal from World of Warcraft. I'm sure they ripped it off from somebody else, but I think I've seen this somewhere before also. And I quite liked it, so I want to just have a little gateway behind there. And these two fearsome looking statues. We're going to see smaller versions of these in a moment when we go over there to Neriak. Over there. But I haven't made the entrance to the temple. What you're supposed to walk up the stairs here, past the scary guardians, and somewhere back here we are going to have an entrance that's going to go down into, not surprisingly, some lava caverns, which I haven't made yet, but I am going to. I'm going to be hand terraforming those. I've been working on permafrost. That's going to go way over there. In the meantime, though. But I do quite like how this integrated into the terrain. I just clipped this straight into the mountain, as you can see here. So we have our mountain terrain, but I just clipped it straight in. So as you can see, some of the statues will bleed in to the terrain that was here before. But it meshes quite nicely in this area. I wasn't really sure where to put this for the longest time, but then it hit me that this was obviously the entrance to the Solsec dungeons that are going to be beneath the lavastorm mountains. And indeed, here is one of our volcanoes over here, erupting and spewing out lava right here down into the caldera. I wish Minecraft had biomes like this. It'd be nice if there was at least a volcano biome or a little surface nether or something like that. But alas, we don't have that. Let me show you around lavastorm a little bit more. We have some, of course, some lava rivers down there. I'm going to put some very precarious bridges for you to cross down there at some point and possibly fall into the lava. So you want to have your fire resist potions if you want to come visit this area. Over here, we're going to have somewhere an entrance to a place called Najena, which is going to be another dark elven stronghold of sorts. But for the moment, we want to head out over this area of the Lavastorm Mountains, which consists of extinct volcanoes. So we've seen the active ones, but here are the ones that were formerly active. As you can see, we've got a little crater lake down there for that one. But underneath these mountains, the last place we're going to visit today, in Nectalos Forest down here, this is going to be the entrance coming into view now to the dark elven city of Neriak. So let me land down here. All I've really done is place the caverns and the entrance. I haven't done the developing and the terraforming for the bridge and everything in front of it just yet. I've just leveled it out so I could put this in. So as you can see, you may recognize this as the Dark Portal tutorial, which has not been made yet, but will be made fairly shortly. There's going to be a nether portal that you can make here, hexagonal shaped. A little wolf's head over the entrance. And of course, the Dark Elves were so impressed by the gates of the Temple of Solsec Row that they adopted that and use this as smaller statues, smaller scale, for the entrance to their city as well. And also on the borders of their lands, they use these statues as well. So these are going to be sort of prototypical dark elven statues. And from this point, we can now go into the city itself, I think. So for this, we are going to need to have a night vision potion, so we can see, and I think I'm going to need to knock a hole into it. I haven't done so just yet. Here we go. So from the outside, as I've said, these are extinct volcanoes above us, which means there used to be magma chambers below. And below those, of course, the extinct magma chambers are going to be entirely sheathed in black glass, as you can see that I'm walking on. And of course, in the ceiling of this, we're going to have several colors of glowing crystals, like we do for the crystal caverns. This is the same basic biome, but it's a little bit less intense. There are fewer crystals, and they're only on the ceiling. But I needed a way to light up the dark elven city. Otherwise, it was going to be a little too quote-unquote dark. So I had to do something about that. We can see some of the reflections with the shaders and the glass on the floor here. It's going to look quite nice. The entire cavern is sheathed in black glass with the crystals poking out of it. I think if I have a little milk here, for a moment we can look up and we can see what I mean with lighting up the cavern. We can see some of the reflections on the floor, just barely. But on the top here, it sort of resembles perhaps a little an indoor starry night, so to speak, with the tips of the crystals are glowing, with just one end rod placed in those. That's the only way I could come up with to do the glass. I did try to light them from the base with some glowstone, but that didn't look right, and I really had to have them in the tips of the crystals here. But if we fly around it a little, it looks really nice, I think. It's really atmospheric, which is always hard to pull off, getting atmosphere right in a build. And for this, we also now need to go into spectator mode, so I can show you the rest of it, because I haven't linked up the caverns yet. I've just placed them. So as I've said, this is the entrance cavern, but there are going to be a few more caverns. So if we drop down here real quick, we can see the placement of the other caverns. There are going to be, as I said, 5 caverns that will consist of Neriak. Going to be 3 gates to Neriak, but 5 caverns. Here's one of the other caverns. This one is pretty much the same as the first one, but it's shaped a little bit differently, as you can see here. Perhaps if I show you this from the exterior, we can see the mountains above us here. As well, we can see some of the ledges of glass, where in World Painter, how I have to do these is you have to make 2 maps and then squish them together. And along the edges here, they've been squished together and made this little extra glass. I'll get rid of that later, probably. But I have positioned the central point of this cavern here directly above, or rather below, this crater lake here, which I talked about. We saw one of these, but remember, this would be an extinct volcano, so underneath that, of course, we need to have an extinct magma chamber, and that is what this is going to be. This is somewhat like the design we're using for Akanon, with the extinct volcano there, except that's one continuous cavern, and it's got different decoration in it. If we go over here, we can see another one of the caverns. I want to show you a view of all these caverns, if I can today. Over here, we have different colors of glass now. We have, I think, some blue, or perhaps that might be green, with white crystals in here. For that, we do also have some underground water here as well, with a couple of glass-encrusted stalagmites, and of course the many stalactites from the ceiling as well. Of course, in the flat parts here, we're going to be filling this with dark elven buildings of various construction. I'm thinking about using a hexagonal motif for everything dark elven, actually. Sort of like modern, well, not modern, sort of like futuristic meets gothic, but done with hexagons. I don't really know what that's going to look like, but I'm interested to find out. Down here in the lower caverns, when we get to the 2nd and 3rd gates of Neriak, we are going to have the purple crystals, arranged like you see done here. Uh-oh, I need another potion. There we go. Night vision never lasts as long as you want it to. So we have a nice, generous flat space in here for something. I think this is going to be the very last cavern. I think there should be some water in the other one over here. Yes. So over here, this is going to be probably a teleport or maybe a cavern entrance or both. From over here, and there'll be a little road, maybe some houses tucked into the wall here. We've got just a little lake right there, but if we go through the cavern this way, past all of the glass around here, we come into a larger area, and then the largest area over here as well, which we're going to have more buildings for the city and everything, and another small little lake around this as well. But that's going to be all the time we have for today. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode, seeing what we have done here, both in Lavastorm and for the very beginnings of Neriak, as well as all the progress we have made back in Palandar on my house, and as well as on the island of Talos. I think next time we will probably head back down to Kunar to see some things there, and possibly somewhere else. But I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.